Good morning. Today should be awesome with a lot of cool volcanic geyser activity. Had a good night last night. It's kind of funny how only 2 of the 4 of us made it to this spot. I don't know where the other 2 guys are. Dr. Thunder and Snow Turtle are somewhere else. Anyway, we are starting out with a wet creek crossing across Moose Creek here. I don't think there was a way where there's a log or anything to get around it, so got to get wet first thing in the morning, and lots of mosquitoes out, so I just got to keep moving. Here's Moose Creek. Not very deep, but it's very cold, and I'm sure the water temperature is freezing, so here we go. Yeah, that's nice and cold. I think we got a couple of those to do today. Something I forgot to mention yesterday is that at some point the chest strap buckle broke, and it's just kind of a thin little plastic piece. It still works and it'll still buckle, but it's not that secure, and it makes squeaky noises now, so you may hear that occasionally in the background. Trying to find a better solution for how to rig that up in case the whole thing breaks apart. And something else I forgot to mention is that the tops of both of my feet hurt. It was like the end of the day 2 days ago when I got to Grant Village after that fast 26.5 mile day. I was just noticing the tops of my feet hurt, and then all day yesterday they were still really sore, and this morning they're sore. So I'm trying to take care of them the best I can and adjust how tight I do the laces, but it's going to be definitely a bother. Just off the side of the trail here, I think that's a 1,000 mile mark, so I think we got 1,000 miles left. That's cool, still lots of trail. Well, it's not all flat through Yellowstone. This is a real steep descent. Ooh. Walking right along the shores of Shoshone Lake. The mosquitoes are getting pretty bad in this area. There's looking back, kind of a miserable stretch. I'm just slogging through a swampy wasteland, and I fell, and I am up to my ass in muddy swamp water. A warning sign here in the Shoshone Geyser basin coming up. No off-trail foot travel due to all the active geyser stuff going on here. Lots of steam vents. You can hear that one bubbling. I'm taking a sit-down snack break. There's recent comments in Far Out that this geyser right over here is very active recently, erupting every couple of minutes. But I've been here about 5 or 10 minutes already and I haven't seen anything. But it's kind of cool that the ground is very warm that I'm sitting on. Feels kind of nice and comfortable, warming up my wet butt. Done with my snack break. No eruptions. Activity's a little calm today. But it was cool just sitting there on the rocks. Everything's like really warm underneath, and not hot to burn you or anything, but it just like was like when you're in a car with heated seats and you just feel the heat warming up your butt. It felt really nice and comfortable. That geyser basin area was pretty cool. It was short though, maybe a half a mile at most. But now we're back to cruising through the woods. Definitely a pretty area. Walking along Shoshone Creek. At least there's some boards around this section of bog. I'll probably still getting my feet wet at some point later today, I'm sure. There's OA1, the Lone Star campsite. This would be the optimal one for a thru hiker. Trying to get through the park. We're only 4 miles, I think, from Old Faithful at this point. We're in the descent down to the Old Faithful complex. I was hoping I can get kind of an overview look at it, but not really. Everything's buried in the trees. But I can hear road noise, some of the hustle bustle going on down there. Less than 2 miles to Old Faithful. Coming up on this whole Old Faithful complex, there's like multiple lodging options and restaurants and a whole bunch of parking, all kinds of stuff here. It's like 12:45. I think I might look for food first. I think it's lunchtime. Oh, there's Old Faithful. Next estimated eruption's in about an hour at around 2 o'clock. So I'm definitely gonna go find some food first. Just taking a quick look at it. Well, I just ran into some more familiar faces. This is Snow Turtle and Dr. Thunder. Me and Snow Turtle actually started on the same day.
Yeah, we were lost in the desert together.
Both
Our
getting
dads
lost
took
together.
us to the border.
I've seen her just off and on a couple of times, and then I've been around Dr. Thunder too. But we actually met on the PCT last year for a little bit. So these are some of the other guys I've been hiking and camping around. So we're gonna do lunch buffet down there in the dining room in a little bit. And this is kind of the main foyer as it is of the lodge here. It looks awesome. Definitely an old historic building. And here's what our buffet meal looks like. I think it was 20 bucks, decent enough. Well, we're done with that lunch buffet. It was really good. And coming up on eruption time for the Old Faithful geyser. So I'm gonna go up to the front and stand with the rest of the 10,000 people that are probably up there ready to view it and see if we get some cool eruption shots here in a minute.
And they heard of this culture entering Yellowstone again, here to take out some of our bison. Bison were already significantly reduced, and there were not many of them, so we needed to catch this poacher. They were up in Mammoth Hot Springs, and it took them 3 days to get down into this Old Faithful area, where in this vast wilderness, they had to find one man in this Oh my God!
Well, here's a quick update to change of plans. My plans have been kind of flexing for what I'm doing through this whole park anyway, with just what sites you can get and that kind of thing. So anyway, the original plan was to get the optimal site like, 20 miles outside of Grant Village, and you can just bounce out the park the next day. But we got the other site where we only did a little bit of miles, and then the current reservation was something like a further 10 miles from my current location. That wasn't going to happen anyway, so I was just planning on stealthing in the woods. And then I was thinking of just stealthing in the woods just right outside the lodge here somewhere, and then sneaking back in and getting the breakfast buffet before hiking back out. And now I'm in a hotel, so it's awesome. So me and Dr. Thunder are split into place. This was a reasonable-ish rate to share with people. The main lodge was like 600 bucks a night or something like that, and this was like a room that opened up here for like somewhere around 400 total or something like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll split it. That won't be a problem. So here we go, because I kind of was thinking of just hiking out from this area anyway for tomorrow. So current game plan is we're all just chilling now in a hotel room. So I think it's still only like 3:30 or something like that. So I'll just be relaxing, charging electronics back up, maybe get some snacks, figure out what I'm doing for dinner later. Still get the breakfast buffet in the morning, and then we're hiking out. And I'm still on timing wise because I've already got reservations booked now for getting into West Yellowstone in like 2 nights from now, something like that. So one way or the other, we're still doing okay. So I'll check back in once we're up to something else. This is just a quick update. I ran down to the other hotel, the old historic one, which I think it was just called the Old Faithful Inn or something like that, and just picked up some dinner options. It's something like 6 o'clock or so right now. Just some grab-and-go sandwiches and things, coffee. We'll probably go back out and look at some night scenery for Old Faithful when it erupts towards sunset. That might be kind of cool, and then maybe looking for another bite to eat around then. But that's it. We're still chilling in the hotel here, enjoying a snack. We're back out at the Geyser. We're right at sunset. We'll get a little nighttime geyser action here in a few minutes. Well, that was fun getting to see the geyser one more time. I think that's all that we're going to be up to for today. If I'm still hungry, any other second dinner is just going to be leftover snacks from the food bag. I've definitely overpacked for this length, getting all the extra meals in from different various restaurants and whatnot. Definitely getting a breakfast in the morning before we head out. So, I think that's it. We'll get to see a little more volcanic activity when we're heading out of the park here for tomorrow. So we'll get to see that, and I think that's about it for Yellowstone. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the morning. Good morning. They got a little breakfast buffet down in the main dining room of this hotel, so I'm gonna head on down and we'll go check it out. It's right at 6:30, right when they open, so we'll start with a good breakfast, and then we'll plan on coming back up to the room, packing up, and then hiking out shortly thereafter. Well, I'm all packed up. I'm getting ready to check out, heading out, and we'll finish up walking through the main area of the Old Faithful stuff here, see a couple more of the geysers and hot springs pools, and then we're kind of back in the woods. I'm looking to do maybe around 20 to 22 miles from here is where the Max Inn alternate starts, and I haven't gone over that real quick, so while I'm thinking about it, I'll go ahead and flip the phone around, or flip the camera around, show you my phone, and kind of show you what routing options I'm thinking of for getting up to West Yellowstone. So here's a quick look at what the route looks like in the Far Out app. We're over here, Yellowstone. We got to do a couple more 15 whatever miles to get to the end of the boundary for the park, and that also crosses us into Idaho. So as far as getting up to West Yellowstone, you'll notice there's a couple of routes here. The red line is the main line. So a couple of weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, there was a grizzly bear attack up in this area, and a huge section of the trail right here was closed, and it only recently just opened. So I was thinking of avoiding this area anyway. There just so happens to be this southern route which kind of avoids that section going through Max Inn. It's called the Max Inn alternate. I'm still going to take it. They never actually captured the bear as far as I know, so there's still basically a killer grizzly bear kind of somewhere roaming up in there. So anyway, once we cross the border, we're going to go continuing up to where it hits the highway there, and then we can hitch up to West Yellowstone. So there's the game plan for that. One last look at Old Faithful. Everything's extra steamy because it's nice and cool this morning. Weather's supposed to be like this for the next week. I think we're done with the cloudy, rainy thunderstorms, which would be awesome. It's supposed to be clear skies and sunny. Old Faithful again is that one geyser in the background. And there's all the lodge buildings. So the CDT more or less follows the road on the other side of all this geyser activity. but I'm taking the boardwalk around the middle of it all. One last final look through the heart of the park, and we'll rejoin the CDT in just a little bit, maybe a mile at most. On these cold, crisp mornings, everything's definitely steaming up a lot more than it was yesterday. There's a large hot springs pool. This one's called the Beauty Pool. This is the Firehole River that flows through the middle of this whole geyser area. Well, this is about the end of the main geyser area of the park. And we're getting back into the woods. Looks like the next area we're passing through is the Biscuit Basin. We're going to be hitting the Summit Lake Trail, I believe, because I think Summit Lake is on the way that we'll be passing. So yesterday I was talking about foot pain on the tops of both of my feet. The pain is still there. It's a little bit milder today, which is good. But doing 20 plus miles is going to aggravate it again. It's at the point where it feels like it's sore and bruised, but not a sharp pain or anything. So I can still walk on it at a reasonable pace. It's just a bother. But I'm definitely planning on taking a 0 once I get to West Yellowstone. Rest up my feet. Hopefully that helps. Oh, I'm stopped for a sit down. It's coming up on noon. Definitely time for a lunch break. I got tons of food because, like I said yesterday, I've just been getting extra doses of food from all the restaurant stops and breakfast buffets that were kind of unplanned, so that's awesome. Plenty of food to get me through these next, we'll be in town tomorrow. But I'm up at Summit Lake. It's just behind me through the trees there. And I think this may be my last water source for the day as well, depending on how far we get. So it's going to be a long haul water carry. If I think I can push it to the next water source, then I may leave here with just, a 1.5 liters or so. Otherwise, I got to haul out a lot. So after a break, we'll be back on trail shortly. I'm done with lunch. Here's Summit Lake. I'm just going to go ahead and max load up here. Next water source is like 15 miles away, I think. But I don't know if I'm going to make it that far today. This is such a beautiful area and a beautiful hiking day. The weather is awesome. I feel like I haven't had a day like this in forever. It's just always get some kind of thunderstorms or it's cold and raining, getting hailed on. This trail's just been really unlucky as far as the weather goes. But today's great. Well, there's the 2,000 mile mark. I was keeping my eye out for that. Going through a really dry, desolate, burned out area. And there's the border. We're officially done with Wyoming, and we're into Idaho. We still got about 2.5 miles or so, and then we're out of the national park boundary. It extends into Idaho just a little bit. It's weird how there can be such sudden changes sometimes, just from crossing different boundaries. We're a little bit into Idaho. The woods are much, much thicker. It just already feels different. I think about this post should be the boundary for the national park. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're through the park, out the west side. A little stealth shot right there on the boundary. And I don't know how many more total miles I'm doing today. I think only just a couple more, and that'll set us up in a decent enough position to finish out the day tomorrow and get into town. Right about as soon as we left the park boundary, trail's kind of turning and following this almost like an old dirt road track or something. Still easy enough to walk on. Well, I think we're done for the day. That was a nice little flat spot just off the side of the road we've been walking down, and that looks good enough. I think we're about less than a mile or so to the junction for the Max Inn alternate, so we're not too far from where we need to be to get into town for tomorrow. So I think that's going to do it for finishing up today's hike. It's been awesome seeing all the extra geysers and stuff when leaving Yellowstone, and then finally crossing the border and getting into Idaho has been pretty cool. But something else I was thinking of, I think I must have missed wherever Easy and Sprite are at, because we were all kind of supposed to be around Yellowstone, around Old Faithful and stuff around the same time, and I think we may have just missed each other. We never saw ourselves on the trail itself, so we must have been like in the Old Faithful village, and maybe like he was doing a resupply while I was at the hotel or something. We just missed each other. So anyway, hopefully I'll keep in contact and see exactly where he's at. But anyway, I think that's it for now. So getting into town tomorrow, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.